To believe that there can be some sustained brilliance at some point very soon. He gets the opportunity because Matt Harrison had to go back on the DL. And as the Rangers prepare for the Angels to come in tomorrow, one more game against the San Diegans tonight. Field and Culbreth says that's strike one, and we are underway on a 98-degree Sunday evening here in Arlington. 0-2. Tony Gwynn Jr. hit a home run to lead off this series on Friday night, his very first big league home run. The son of an 8-time batting champion. You know, between 1973 and 85, Tag, these Padres drafted 3 Hall of Famers. They got Tony Gwynn Sr., Ozzie Smith, and Dave Winfield. That's pretty impressive that over a dozen years you draft 3 Hall of Famers. Rangers are loving how their last few drafts have gone. But in terms of pointing to something that you did, I think the Padres can do that from about a generation ago. Popped in the air towards left, and David Murphy will wave off Marlon Byrd and make the catch.
Well, you have to have drafted players like that, or you have to sign them somewhere, maybe in Latin America, to be a pennant-winning team. To be a perennial pennant contender, you have to have star players. Maybe not Hall of Famers, but you have to have all-stars.
Rangers could be sending a few to the All-Star game this year. You check their defense. Michael Young's a possibility. Kinsler a distinct possibility. Saltalamacchia, you got to give him credit again, Tag. He's caught all 3 games of this series now after catching the 12-inning game in the heat of Phoenix back on Thursday night.
A good sign early in the game. Tommy throwing strikes. This is the kind of night you want to throw strikes, have short innings. Two degrees cooler tonight than last night.
Oh yeah, it's downright chilly.
It's really cooled off quite a bit. I'd like to know how many of those dogs are going to make it through 9 innings today. Boy, that's a pretty tough assignment for a dog. Good breaking ball right there for strike 2.
To Everth Cabrera.
Tommy's fastball anywhere from 89 to 92-ish, right around in there. He's got a good curveball to go along with it.
The fastball fouled by Cabrera. A lot of fastballs yesterday from Derek Holland, not pictured here. And Derek had a very unusual game. The first pitcher in Major League history to give up 13 hits and still strike out 8 in less than 6 innings. That had never happened before. Here's a little bloop off the bat of Cabrera. No problem for Kinsler.
Very good curveball. And a good start. 2 up, 2 down, 9 pitches.
There's Derek Holland, who almost matched a Ranger record for most hits allowed in a game. Oil Can Boyd and Bobby Witt each had 14s. You know what's weird, Tag, is that at AAA yesterday, the starter also gave up 13 hits. Oklahoma City's Brian Corey did the same thing.
Yeah, I'm sure that Oklahoma City's bullpen had been taxed. And I remember Oil Can Boyd's game. It was in Baltimore, and he literally was going to pitch 5 innings if he gave up 30 hits. There was no one that could pitch unless it was a position player until late in that ball game. There was a couple of guys that might be able to give you an inning or 2. And Oil Can battled. He never complained, and he battled, and he got bombed that day, but he got through 5 innings, maybe 6. Can't remember if it was 5 or 6. But and Bobby Witt would never quit if he'd given up 20 hits in 2 innings.
2 strikes to count to Hairston, a former high school teammate of Ian Kinsler's back in Tucson, Arizona, Canyon del Oro High School. That's a high school program that has produced quite a few professional baseball players now. 2 of them in the game tonight.
When you think of how hard it is to get to the big leagues and all the high schools and all the high school players, to have 2 kids off the same high school team get to the big leagues is pretty remarkable.
They wore the green and gold of the Canyon del Oro Dorados, as did the Duncans, Chris Duncan and Shelley Duncan. Brian Anderson of the White Sox was there. That's a pretty talented team.
Sounds like that's where ball players moved so their kids could play baseball there.
Towering pop-up. And now they'll sing the fight song of Canyon del Oro, Kinsler and Hairston. Tommy Hunter is through at 1-2-3. Kinsler coming in to lead it off for the Rangers when we come back. In Arizona, and now on Dog Night at the ballpark. Sponsored by Petco, by the way, and it's probably appropriate that the Rangers are playing the Padres tonight. They play their home games at Petco Park. The Ranger batting order, it's Kinsler, Murphy, and Young, Jones, Blaylock, and Bird. Saltalamacchia, Davis, and Andrews, the Southwest Airlines starting lineup. And Chad Godin, a guy that the Rangers have seen plenty of before. He's been with Tampa Bay, he's been with the Cubs, he's been with the A's. A native Louisianan. Here's the scouting report.
Well, you look at his record, he's 3-6, his ERA is 5.60. That looks bad, but then you look at his line. It's hard to get a 5.60 ERA out of fewer hits than innings pitched and 3 more strikeouts than innings pitched. If you just looked at that line, I think you'd look at his ERA and think it was in the upper 3s or lower 4s. And when you look at his day by day, he's had some weird games. He's had a low inning 7-walk game. He's given up 5 walks and 7 runs in a game. And then he's had a game where he didn't walk anybody but gave up 10 hits and 8 runs.
I gets one right in on Kinsler. Grounds back to Godin, who had a career best 11 strikeouts last time out. Headley, Hairston, and Gwynn in the outfield for the Padres. Sons of major leaguers out there, Hairston and Gwynn. Eliezer Alfonso catching Godin. I like that goatee he was featuring in that headshot right there. Murphy takes outside.
Godin has good movement on his sinker. He's a pretty good sinker ball pitcher. He struck out 19 in his last 2 starts. Both of those starts against Seattle. 8 and 11. See how he does against someone other than Seattle. But he's a big league pitcher. He was released early this season by the Cubs, signed by the Padres. They picked up Godin after he was released. They got Kevin Correa as a minor league free agent.
How good was he last night?
He was real good. That was not a fluke. That was his 5th straight well-pitched game.
Had a 9 strikeout effort yesterday. The Rangers lost that game 7-3. And again, with the Angels winning both yesterday and today, that puts the Rangers a full game instead of a half a game back. Murphy draws the walk. Bud Black, a guy that very familiar to Angels personnel. He was the pitching coach for the Halos for 7 years, and I had a chance to talk to Bud a bit before the game tonight. He's fascinated by this burgeoning race between the Rangers and the Angels. I think Bud is kind of astonished at the Angels with all their injuries They've been able to maintain what they've maintained. It's pretty impressive. But he's very impressed by what the Rangers have put together. He really sees it as a down-to-the-wire two-team race. And obviously the head-to-head games between the Rangers and the Angels will be huge. There are 16 more of them, including 3 the next 3 nights right here at the ballpark.
Godin has not pitched very well in this ballpark. His ERA is over 8. He's pitched in 11 games. 3 of them have been starts. Most of that with the A's.
The A's really the one team that nobody's looking at in the West right now. They're 9.5 back. Again, the Rangers are 1 back. Seattle started the day 3 back.
Colorado beat the A's 3-1 today. Houston Street got the save against his old teammates.
Colorado's an interesting team because, you know, it looked 3 weeks ago, Tag, like they would be sellers and not buyers. But all of a sudden, they've won something like 19 out of 21. And when you look at the wild card race, they'd be a game out right now. So they'd be more sellers than buyers at this point, or buyers than sellers at this point, if they're going to do anything.
Yeah, the West Division of the National League is why the wild card has been such a popular change in baseball over the years. I mean, basically, the Dodgers, with an 8-game lead, have a chance to run away with it. But there's still a couple of teams in it because of the wild card.
Michael Young serves it into center. The Rangers have 2 on with just 1 out for Andrew Jones. Michael trying to get back to the top 10 in the American League in batting average. Might have done it with that hit.
Pretty good pitch, too. Slider down.
You know, Michael is not going to be the number 3 hitter in the order all year. When Josh Hamilton comes back, that should be the spot where he goes. And there's news on that front. Josh is going to lead off in DH for Frisco tomorrow. So if you're a Rough Riders fan, you got a chance to see Josh in a Riders uniform tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, Josh will join Oklahoma City for the rehab. Okie City will be playing up in Des Moines, Iowa. Andrew pops up and is grabbed by the catcher Alfonso for out number 2. So that tells you that Josh Hamilton is getting close. I think realistically maybe the next road trip is what the Rangers are thinking. But if the rehab goes really well, Josh is still of the mind that, hey, maybe I can get back in the right way for the Rangers around the 4th of July. Ron Washington would love to have him back. I think Blaylock couldn't have been too unhappy, Tag, to see it was Chad Godin pitching tonight. Blaylock career 7 for 8 against his San Diego right-hander. That includes a couple of doubles and a home run. On the corner, 1-1. Blaylock sends it out towards Gwynn, the son of his favorite player growing up in San Diego. He just flew out to him. So the Rangers, with a couple men on base, leave him on base. No score at the end of 1. ceremonies for all of that was the great Jim Knox before the game. That was outstanding. And now, on something completely unrelated, we go to Jim Knox.
I appreciate that, Josh. And we had a celebrity dog, and we'll get to that a little bit later on in the show. But a great organization, the Sunshine Kids out here in Community Quarter. Rita Schuma, she is the director of development. And Jennifer from Arlington, a big-time Ranger fan, one of the Sunshine Kids. And this is a great organization that's dedicated to helping kids with cancer. Right, Rita?
Yes, it is. We are dedicated to children with cancer. We provide exciting activities for kids that have been diagnosed, and we do local and national events all across North America.
Now, Jennifer, today, a big day for you. You got to meet Ian Kinsler, Michael Young, Josh Hamilton. What was going on?
We got to go down to during batting practice, and we got to watch them batting practice, and Josh Hamilton came over and took pictures with everybody, and then we got to go and do an interview. Everyone within the group, we got to go out and interview Josh Hamilton and Michael Young and his wife was Josh Hamilton. Why am I mixing up the name? Ian's wife came in. I don't know. She was there, and we all got to ask questions.
Yeah, and Ian and his wife are hosting a lot of the Sunshine Kids here tonight. Real quick, Rita, for those who want to get involved, what do they need to do?
They can just go to our website. It's www.sunshinekids.org, and just check out. It's got all the information and what they can do to help out.
All right, good meeting you. And Jennifer, continue to root for those Rangers. I know you live here in Arlington. You're looking great. Appreciate it. Thank you. Josh.
All right, thanks so much. Yeah, Ian and Tess Kinsler were a big part of that before the game. And Sunshine Kids really championed by another fantastic second baseman and humanitarian from here in the state of Texas, Craig Biggio. And Ian kind of picking up that mantle here in the Metroplex and running with it. After the double by Gonzalez, Kevin Kuzminoff, the batter. The second inning is where the Padres really got rolling yesterday, Tag. It was a 1-2-3 first inning, and then Derek Holland had a real tough time in the second. Pretty good pitch right there. Some late movement on it. 1-2. Seven at 3, the final yesterday we mentioned. Rangers started to hit a little bit towards the end of that game, but by then they were down by a bunch. Well, the Rangers have won 3 out of 4, but they have lost 14 out of 24. And that has allowed the Angels to get hot, catch up, and even pass the Rangers now. This is the first time since May 5th that the Rangers are not in first place. Got him. Kevin Kuzminoff blown away with a high fastball.
That was a good location, good velocity, and it came after a real good curveball that Kuzminoff just got a piece of. And he comes back with a 93-mile-an-hour fastball right at the top of the strike zone and gets him to swing and miss at it. Good out right there because the man on second stayed right where he was.
Chase Headley was on base 4 times yesterday, 3 hits and a walk. These Padres haven't won a series since Memorial Day weekend, but they've got a chance to do that tonight. A so-called rubber game of the 3-game set. It's tough not to get excited, Tag, about the Angels series coming up. LA's got a rookie that'll pitch tomorrow, Sean O'Sullivan against Vicente Padilla. Tuesday it's Feldman against Joe Saunders. And Wednesday is the marquee matchup. It's Millwood against Jared Weaver, ace against ace. One guy's got a 2.64 ERA, the other's got a 2.65 in that Wednesday game.
Yeah, it really isn't a bad starter in that whole series. Rangers throwing out their 3 best starters. Angels throwing out 3 of their best starters. Of course, John Lackey probably qualifies as their ace. If you look at the stats, he probably is not quite there yet, but Rangers won't see Lackey in this series. Last time the Angels were here, it went very well.
Yep, that was a 3-game sweep, and Millwood had a role in that. Got him to pop it up. Michael Young in fair territory makes the catch.
But to get both outs, made good pitches with his fastball. He got Kuzmanov to miss one, and he jammed Headley with a good fastball right there.
Now the 290-pound first baseman Kyle Blanks will be Hunter's challenge. That's 4 fly ball outs already for Hunter.
He got that ball right in on the fist for that little pop-up. Threw it right where he wanted it, right where Salty called for it, right where he put his glove.
Well, you got 257 pounds pitching to 290 pounds right here. This is a heavyweight battle, Hunter and Blanks. That's an imposing figure up there.
That's a pretty imposing figure on the mound, too. There's
yeah.
Some meat on the bones right there between these two guys. Tommy's not quite as tall, but he's solidly built, that's for sure.
The one really powerful Padre player that I always remember is Nate Colbert, and he went 6'2", 210. This guy has about 4 or 5 inches, the guy on the right, and what, about 80 pounds on big Nate Colbert.
Yeah, this guy is a bigger version of Dave Winfield.
Yeah.
Good pitch.
Great pitch. And it's Davis corralling the 5th pop-up in 2 innings. There's also been a strikeout as well, so the leadoff double doesn't blossom. No score, mid-2. No score, and again, a public service reminder, the dog jokes will be flying fast and furious tonight, so if you don't like them, hit the mute button. It is dog night tonight. There are some great-looking dogs at the ballpark tonight.
Hey, if you don't like dogs, what kind of an American are you?
Right.
That's what it boils down to.
All right, now for you bird lovers, here's Marlon. And a strike from Chad Godin. Best dog of all time, in your opinion? Famous dog. TV, movie.
That's easy for me.
Is it?
Petey on the Little Rascals.
Wow, I don't know if he's top 5 for me, but I liked Petey.
I just liked it because I liked the Little Rascals.
You must also like Eddie from Frasier, then, that little Jack Russell Terrier.
I've never disliked a dog, I don't think, on TV. Gotta like Lassie, gotta like Rin Tin Tin.
I grew up with Benji. Benji was at the movies when I was a kid.
Gotta like Benji.
And you sure can't go wrong with Toto, in my humble opinion. 2-strike pitch to Marlon Byrd. He tries to check against the slider. No, he did not, according to first base umpire Gary Cederstrom. That is out number 1 here in the second.
Yeah, it looked like he got through the zone. Home plate umpire didn't call it, but the first base umpire saw it.
Now the Salty Dog comes up, Jared Saltalamacchia. I got one for you, Tag, real quick. I promise we'll get back to baseball, but I looked this up before the game. The most often named dog. What is the top dog name
top
currently?
Dog name?
Yeah.
Bud.
What?
Bud.
You're so, yeah.
Rex.
I'll give you credit.
Spot.
Buddy is correct. Yep. And I'll absolutely give you credit on Bud. Max is number 2.
Max, yeah.
Sadie's number 3.
Sadie, I never would have got that.
I would have thought Fido and Spot would have been way up there. But
those were probably 30, 40 years ago.
Saltalamacchia, high drive left field. What's the old Stephen Wright line? I spelled spot remover on my dog. Now he's gone. 2 down. Chris Davis coming up. He's also the comedian that, and I'm assuming he was joking, said he was going to name his dog Stay. So he'd call him and go, "Come here, Stay. Come here, Stay." Davis now 6 of his last 11, and the hope here heading into the Angels series is that he is starting to get it right again. Be the right time to do it. They got the shift on for Chris Davis, and certainly we haven't seen this a lot for this particular left-hand slugger. We've seen it for Blaylock, used to see it for Teixeira. The Padres are putting it in gear here for Davis.
Probably not with 2 outs, but at some point in time during the game, especially if you're leading off an inning, it's a perfect chance to get on base with a bunt. I think Ron, in this situation, though, would rather, with 2 outs, would rather see Chris swing the bat, try to drive the ball, go more for an extra base hit than to get on first base.
He's got 15 home runs already.
If you're a base stealer and they want to play you like this, then you bunt it and steal second.
And there's your double.
And there's your double, right.
Well, predominantly a pull hitter, as the stats there will tell you. Two out pitch is fouled back. The Rangers still have a chance for a .500 record here in June. They need to win the last 3 games of the month. I think that's kind of telling. I mean, you know, to hear it told around town, it's like June has been this dismal month. Still got a chance to have a .500 record. Strike 3 called to Davis. And now the Rangers and the Padres and the Dogs are all through 2 innings. There's no score. those ice cream cones don't have a chance.
I hope that's a good-natured dog, boy. I wouldn't be holding food away from that thing.
It is, as you may have surmised, dog night at the ballpark tonight. Expecting about 300, 350 dogs.
That dog's head is bigger than 20% of the dogs that are here tonight.
We will introduce you later to the winner of the dog parade that Jim Knox emceed, Willard Scott style. Actually, more like Fred Willard style from Best in Show.
Oh, that was a great
That was
movie.
a fine movie. Edgar Gonzalez, Adrian's brother, takes outside. Although I'll out myself on this. I once took that movie along, Best in Show, on a Rangers caravan trip when Jerry Naron was the manager. I think Jerry thought we were getting like some Steve McQueen movie or something. And it was definitely not a Steve.
He didn't like it?
He was not a fan. No, I think he would have preferred some sort of Western or action adventure movie. And
Fred Willard, that was as funny a role as you could ever see.
I thought so too.
It was great.
2-2 the count to Gonzalez. Adrian Gonzalez's older brother is going to take just off the plate. Tommy Hunter thought he had it.
Well, so did Fielded Coburn for a second. His head snapped back, but his arm never went up. Just slightly outside. Good call by Fielding.
Ooh, fouled it right off his foot.
Good movement on that ball. Really tailed in on him.
You definitely see the family resemblance between Edgar Gonzalez and Adrian Gonzalez.
Yeah, definitely. Adrian's a little bit bigger, but boy, they look exactly alike. Pretty cool. There's two sets of brothers playing on the same team this year. The LaRoches are playing in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Gonzalez is playing here. Good breaking ball.
And good night, Gonzalez.
You can really see the evolution of a young pitcher in Tommy Hunter. You look back to last year when maybe he was kind of a little bit like a deer in the headlights. His last start was much better than that. And this game, he's pitching with a lot of confidence. He's throwing his breaking ball for a strike whenever he wants to. That was a 3-2 breaking ball. He's had a little bit better velocity on his fastball, better location with it. That looked like a cutter right there that he gets one right off the end of the bat with.
So far, so good.
Yeah, he's pitching really nice right now.
Hunter's going to turn 23 in 5 days. So if the Rangers rotation holds, he might get a birthday start coming up. The big thing for Ron Washington right now is making sure that Millwood just kind of stays how he's been going. They've got him on a regular turn right now that'll get him facing the Angels twice before the All-Star break. Of course, they want to get Derek Holland pitching confidently, and you need to get Matt Harrison healthy. Let's not forget about Brandon McCarthy. The hope for Brandon is that he'll be able to come back before too long and jump back in. I always say it comes down to pitching, and in whatever percentage you want to put on it. Connie Mack was the first one, I think. He said pitching is 70% of the game. Branch Rickey threw out the number 50%. The old Cubs manager Herman Franks once said it was 80%.
Well, Yogi Berra once said 50% of pitching is 90% mental or something like that.
He also said you got to have catchers because otherwise you'd have all pass balls.
He was almost right. I guess they'd have to be wild pitches. Boy, he was throwing nicely. All his pitches working.
Tommy Hunter so far is the story of this game. That's 3 strikeouts. He's getting a bunch of pop outs, keeping the Padres down and out. No score. No score, bottom of the third inning, and just a reminder, you can vote for your favorite Rangers. Help Ian Kinsler maintain that voting lead at second base. The All-Star Game's in St. Louis this year. Go to TexasRangers.com/All-Star, cast your ballot. You get 2 free Ranger tickets when you vote the maximum of 25 times. So you can absolutely help your favorite Ranger represent North Texas in the All-Star Game. There's a flare in the right. Tony Gwynn Jr. tumbles and robs Elvis Andrus. The San Diego outfield has been really active this weekend. Rangers with a lot of baseballs bashed out that way. Gwynn's been great.
It looked like off the bat this ball was going to shoot to the wall, but it kind of hung up there a little bit, and that allowed Gwynn to show his athletic ability, make a nice play.
His dad, we mentioned on the broadcast yesterday, now the baseball coach at San Diego State. Tony Gwynn Jr.'s got a sister, Anisha, who's an R&B singer, pretty accomplished. A very talented family. Kinsler will knock one towards Hairston in center. The high school teammates getting together again.
Not quite getting the good part of the bat on the ball against Godin so far in the game. His fastball's gotten in on him just a little bit. Really haven't gotten the head of the bat out and hit one off the sweet spot yet.
Murphy's coming up. Hey, quickly, let's go to Jim Knox.
All right, thank you, Josh. You know, we have a celebrity dog here at Dog Night. This is Reveille 8. That's right. The cadets from Texas A&M brought him. Ben, you are the handler. And what made you decide, hey, I'm going to come out to Dog Night?
Well, I was at one of the games one night this summer, and they announced it, and I thought, well, I got a pretty important dog at home. Maybe we should take her out here. So I made a few phone calls and made it happen.
Getting some interesting looks tonight so far?
Yes, sir. Quite a few. People are kind of giving me second takes, and is that the real dog? And of course it is, so it's been great.
All right, good to have Reveille out here tonight. Good to see you guys. Appreciate it. Let's see if Reveille can stand up, get a good look at Reveille. There we go. All right, Reveille, looking good. Thank you, Ben.
All decked out in the A&M colors. Nice. Thank you, Jim. We're going to be hearing a lot from Jim throughout the night. And I'm with you. Now that I think about it, it is more the Fred Willard than the Willard Scott with Noxie and the interviewing of the dogs.
Yeah, Jim's just getting warmed up.
Murphy to second base and off of Gonzalez into center field. The Rangers get a break, get a base runner. Michael Young will come up next. E4 is again David Eckstein is getting the night off at second base tonight. Edgar Gonzalez charged with the error. By the way, Tag, not that we've even asked for it on the emails, but people are letting us know who are their favorite dogs of all time. Yeah.
Who are you getting? Any of ours or new ones?
A couple of Lassies,
yeah,
which I can totally see. Fred from Smokey and the Bandit. That's a real good one. That's Ranger fan Eli. It's the one that Jerry Reed had in the 18-wheeler.
I saw Smokey and the Bandit a long time ago. I can't remember the dog.
You don't remember old Fred?
I can't remember Fred.
They went into that biker bar and they threw Fred out. And anyway, strike 2 to Michael Young. Thank you, everybody, for the emails. And foxsports.com is how to get in touch anytime. The key word is email Rangers. There you
go.
Someone
has to have Marley, right? From Marley and
From
me?
Marley and Me, sure. Haven't seen that on the email yet, but I'm sure we're getting it. A couple for Beethoven, remember from the, the movie?
Yeah.
What about Triumph the Insult Comic Dog? I haven't seen that one yet. That's kind of a cynical dog. Our producer, Kurt Dykert, wants to know if Dino counts from the Flintstones. I thought that was a dinosaur. Which gets us to a whole other conversation. I mean, what about in the cartoons? I mean, Pluto was a dog, right? Was Goofy a dog, too? Food for thought as you watch commercials for 2 minutes. Michael Young strikes out. The Rangers strand 1. Pitcher's duel shaping up tonight. Hunter and Godin. There is no score. Padres. We go to the 4th inning, and the Rangers right now in interleague play 9-8. Well, the Angels, meantime, really got fat against the National League. They ended up 14-4 with a win today. And the Angels are on their way. They come in to start a 3-game series tomorrow night. Everett Cabrera with a foul ball off a bunt. 972 Rangers, a number to call, or go to TexasRangers.com. That's the way to lock up your tickets for that Angels series. These are not crucial games, but they're important games, I think is the best way to say it. I don't know if any series is crucial in June. Wow, busted his bat.
It sounded like an aluminum bat. Well, Tommy's made a lot of good pitches through 3 1/3 innings. Good location with his fastball. He's not just throwing the fastball for a strike. He's throwing quality strikes. Ball was in on the fist and jammed him. A real good curveball tonight as well.
Indianapolis native Tommy Hunter, and we mentioned he played his college ball at the University of Alabama. 3 starts for the Rangers last year. They did not go well. In fact, his ERA was in the 16s. But as we've talked a lot about the last couple of years, that's the whole point of being 21 or 22 and in a big league ball game. It is a learning curve.
Yeah, if you get too serious about evaluating the performance of a 21-year-old pitcher, you can make a lot of mistakes, because very few 21-year-old pitchers that get to the big leagues as quickly as Tommy did are ready to come in and be at their best right off the bat. And so if you start picking them apart for what they aren't able to do at that age, you're doing them a disservice, and you might be making a bad decision for your organization as well.
Hairston with a foul. But one email theme we are definitely getting tonight, besides favorite dogs tag, is everybody is hating this look of both teams being in blue.
Boy, I can't agree more.
It's a different shade of blue.
There should be a rule against it.
Padres are the only team on the field with these sand-colored pants, however. That's one way you can discern between the two tonight.
I mean, at the very least, the home team should declare their uniform, and the visitor should not be able to wear a dark colored jersey.
Well,
they should have to wear a light colored road jersey.
I agree with you. And in the NBA, when the Mavs choose to wear their home greens and they happen to be playing Boston, the Celtics, I guarantee you, would not also be wearing green.
No.
A drive from Hairston down into the left field corner. It flies out of here. The Padres have the lead now, as Scott Hairston becomes a 300 hitter. He belts one into the left field seats. It's going to come back. Oh, and 300 dogs now want to jump on the field.
It looked like Hairston hit a curveball there. Looked like it stayed up just a little bit. Nice job of hitting. Got the good part of the bat on it. A little bit out in front of it. And that one stayed on the inside part of the plate, actually right down the middle of the plate. One of the few pitches that Tommy has thrown there, especially with his curveball. He's kept that pitch down all day long. And
caught it in the calf there, Ted.
Unfortunately, the one that he did throw there was to the wrong guy, and Hairston hit it out. That's where he's been throwing most of them.
He hit it out where, remember, his brother used to hit him out in batting practice and called it
Hairston territory.
Hairston country.
Hairston country.
Yep. Well, his brother just hit it into Hairston country. That's after an 0 for 5-3 strikeout night last night. So Hairston off the DL recently. Now maybe taking a few at bats to get that swing back, but he has made it 1-0 tonight. Two and one to the former Ranger Adrian Gonzalez. His career has absolutely taken off ever since he got traded back home. He grew up in San Diego, that area, right on the border between San Diego and Mexico. His dad was a real good player in the Mexican leagues, and then went on to have a very successful business on the border there, an air conditioning business. The family made a fortune in air conditioning.
Well, no, he's ready to make a fortune playing baseball.
Yeah, he's set. One thing he's been doing a lot of is walking here in this month of June. He's already walked 30 times this month. There's no other player in the big leagues that's walked more than 20. I think that's a function of a lot of teams just pitching around him. The rest of this Padres order is kind of in and out. Gonzalez very steady, driving that one to right, and it hooks to Andrew Jones.
How many times did Barry Bonds walk that year? 230?
Yeah.
He was averaging 40 walks a month, basically, for 6 months.
Yeah. That was just insane.
He was walked intentionally something like 120 times. He led the league in walks on it with intentional walks, not even regular walks.
All right, the old Giants record, and remember, they had guys like McCovey and Mays. I think the old record was something like 35 or 36 intentional walks. So that was it.
You know, I can't remember what the number was. Let's say it was 120. There was probably 50 regular walks that were basically intentional walks, just trying to pitch around him with no intention of giving him a good pitch to hit.
That was the amazing thing about that year where he hit the 73 home runs, is there were games where sometimes he would literally get one pitch all night that he could drive.
When he did,
and he'd drive it every time. Of course, we know some other things now about that year too, but
yeah, that year and a few of the other years.
232 walks in 2004.
You know, you would never know that you would gain that strength at that stage of your career by rubbing a little flaxseed oil on your leg. It's amazing. You know, I can see putting it in a smoothie or sprinkling some flakes on your cereal to maybe gain some health benefits. But who would know?
Yeah.
That your head would grow a size by rubbing it on your leg.
Kuzminoff with a base hit in the left. That'll bring up Chase Headley. Yeah, that year, Tag, that 2004 season with the 120 intentional walks is what it was. Nobody else in baseball that year had 100 unintentional walks. He had 120 intentional walks.
Yeah.
232 walks to go with 135 hits. And an on-base percentage, of 610.
If you look beyond the performance-enhancing drugs, which is impossible to do, but let's just say hypothetically you could do that. Never in the history of baseball has there been a more intimidating batter than him, and I think you can even include Babe Ruth in that.
Well, Babe Ruth never had a season where he was on base 61% of the time.
No one else did either. Yeah, it was unbelievable. Now, I guess you could argue, though, that when you compare Babe Ruth's performance to the rest of the league and to the rest of baseball, it was more dominating than Bonds when you do the same thing, because there was a lot of players at that stage of baseball history who were hitting a ton of home runs. They may not have hit 73 like he did.
Right, but there were a bunch of guys that were at least in range.
Guys in, 40s and 50s. When Babe was hitting his home runs, there were teams that weren't hitting as many home runs as he was.
He was lapping the field every year.
So I guess you have to look at that as more of the criteria. That when you do, and you pick the greatest player ever, in my opinion, you can't look past Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth would have gone to the Hall of Fame as a pitcher.
Well, put it this way about Bonds. That year that he had the on-base percentage of 610, and he had another year where he was at 582. That's second all-time. No other major leaguer, Tag, has ever had a season of an on-base percentage of even 508. Bonds had a 582 and a 610.
Pretty amazing.
Those 232 walks set the big league record by more than 60 for a single season. But, and we talked about this a bit in San Francisco. I don't know of a more unembraceable superstar that this game has seen. Maybe Albert Bell for different reasons, but Barry Bonds, think about this, never had a nickname. Hank Aaron was the Hammer. Willie Mays, the Say Hey Kid. If you're likable, you get a nickname. Barry Bonds went through his whole career, never had a nickname.
I guess he had a few that you might not be able to say.
Well, yeah, we're not on cable tonight, so. The 2-2 pitch on the ground, second base. And Tommy Hunter is out of the inning, but the Hairston home run has San Diego on top tonight, 1-0. Looking live at Kiki, the Rat Terrier. That's our stage manager, Allie, who's a very, very proud dog owner. If I owned Kiki, I'd be exceedingly proud of that myself. So, one email, by the way, Tag, one, that says, I am a flag-waving American, but not a dog lover.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. That was a dumb thing for me.
No. I think for the most part,
dogs.
You don't have to, but
most of us feel that way. But people that don't have every right to feel that way.
But we have a flag and a dog in the.
That stupid statement. But I kind of do that quite frequently.
What are we doing? The Chris Farley show all of a sudden? Stupid. What? Oh.
Me and my big mouth.
Jones, Blaylock, and Bird in the bottom of the fourth against Chad Godin. A home run from Scott Hairston has the Padres on top tonight. The Angels have already won their game. It looked like the Diamondbacks might come back and help out in that one. It was 9-3 Angels. Then it was 9-8. Then the Angels pulled away. A wave and a miss, and down goes Andrew Jones. Gary Matthews Jr. had a straight steal of home in that game. And the Angels are flying in right now, getting ready for the three-game series that starts tomorrow here in Arlington.
We talked about Godin in his last two starts. He struck out 8 2 starts ago. He struck out 11 in his last start. And he has 4 in 4 innings in this start.
Gets Blaylock to roll out. Again, the news from off the field today is encouraging. Josh Hamilton sounds like he's getting real close to coming back. He will lead off in DH for Double-A Frisco tomorrow. Part of a rehab assignment that will also put him on the Oklahoma City team by the middle of the week. Oklahoma City will be in Des Moines, Iowa coming up. So sorry, Red Hawks fans, that we're hoping to see Josh come to Bricktown Ballpark. Got to go to Sec Taylor Stadium in Des Moines instead. Some other scores from today. The Giants beat the Brewers 7-0. You know, I know it's not looking like the Dodgers are going to give up control of that NL West, but the Giants are a team to watch. They had Ryan Sadowski come up today and make a start. And all he did was fire a 4-hitter at Milwaukee. As for interleague, you got one other game besides the Rangers-Padres happening tonight. The Yankees lead the Mets 3-0. That's in the third. Chien-Ming Wang looking for his first win of the year. Braves beat the Red Sox 2-1. Tommy Hanson, the rookie pitcher, goes to 4-0. And Chipper Jones had a home run. Strike to Bird, 3-2. The Reds beat the Mark DeRosa-less Indians 8-1. DeRosa, if you didn't hear, got dealt to the Cardinals, and he batted cleanup in the game for St. Louis today. Cardinals lost to the Twins 6-2. Marlon Byrd checks his swing. Up comes Saltalamacchia with 2 out. The Battle of Ohio today. Ramon Hernandez was the big hitter. Boy, that's another team that nobody talks about, but the Reds are in that race in the NL Central.
The Reds have some really good bullpen work going on for them right now. Several really good young position players, too.
Strike one to Salty.
Godin, sinker slider, and a good slider today. They're interchangeable. You can throw them any time in the count, and he's been doing that. Marlon laid off a tough 3-2 slider, just a little bit down and away. But basically his sinker is around 90 miles an hour. Keeps it down with good movement. He's got a hard, tight slider that he throws, and so far in this game he has not made too many mistakes. Rangers haven't hit a ball hard yet.
Down and in to Saltalamacchia.
The line drive Elvis hit was, I'd say, a semi-hard hit ball, but really didn't jump off his bat.
Some other scores real quick. The Phillies beat the Blue Jays 5-4. Jamie Moyer goes to 6-6, still getting it done after all these years. For Toronto, Aaron Hill, 2 more home runs, and he's now got the most home runs of any second baseman in baseball. He's got 19. Kinsler's got 18, but Jamie Moyer was the story today. Boy, how many people 10, 12 years ago would have thought Jamie Moyer would end up with more career wins than Bob Gibson? The Nationals beat the Orioles. That was in Baltimore. A 5-3 final. They say Adam Dunn just hit a massive home run in that game. On to Utah Street. 442 feet. Rays beat the Marlins 5-2. That was David Price getting it done.
He's coming off a start where he gave up like 9 or 10 runs.
And if the Rays rotation holds, we'll see young David Price over the 4th of July weekend. The Rays will be coming in to play the Rangers here.
Oh, so there's what maybe the best prospect in baseball 2 years ago or last year, if you go by the Baseball America list of 100 top prospects. First player picked in the draft. As good a young left-hander as you'll find or want to draft. And he had a couple of starts ago where he pitched about 4 innings and gave up 9 or 10 runs. So even the best of the best, when they're young, have games like that. Even great pitchers in the middle of their career, prime of their career, have games like that occasionally.
2-2 to Saltalamacchia. Ooh, good looking breaking ball. Got it in there to strike him out. 2-out walk does not bloom for the Rangers. We'll go to the 5th. It's 1-0 Padres. Whole family to see the Rangers play on Free Kid Tuesdays. Kids 13 and under get in free for this coming Tuesday's game against the Angels. One free child's ticket available with every full price adult ticket purchased. Some restrictions do apply. And no, you cannot bring your dog to the game on Tuesday. That is just tonight. Dog night at the ballpark tonight. A lot of fun. 300 plus dogs in attendance, we are told. 972 Rangers, a number to call to get your Ranger tickets for the remainder of this homestand. Kyle Blanks will take a strike. This does not seem like the kind of guy that would own one of those little tiny fancy French dogs.
No, I would mark him for the Great Dane we saw out there.
6'6", 290.
But a lot depends on the rest of your family too. You know, if you've got a family, little kids and wife, they might like little dogs.
There's a base hit. I'm not anti little dog at all. We've got 2 Bijans at home. All right, well, here we go. Get your seatbelts on. The Jim Knox Dog Night hilarity begins right now. We go to Jim Knox.
All right, Josh and Tom, we got the heaviest dog and the lightest dog out here today. Yeah, there it is, Tom, the Great Dane Maddox. How much does Maddox weigh?
150 last time I weighed him.
All right, and we have Sadie.
Sadie.
How much does Sadie weigh?
She weighs 4 pounds.
4 whopping pounds with the pink sneakers. What does Maddox like to eat?
Favorite thing in the world is French fries.
Got one French fry right here. Maddox, concentrate, buddy. There we go. Hey, nice job. Okay, thank you guys.
5-4-3 double play. That worked well. Edgar Gonzalez hits into it. That was like Blanks and Eckstein hanging out with Jim Knox right there. Nicely turned around the horn for the Rangers. Michael Young vacuums it up.
Yeah, Michael's playing in shallow at third base.
We'll call this the tail end of the double play right here.
You notice Jim didn't set that French fry down with his hands. No. Let that dog eat it out of his hand. He was dropping it and moving the hand away quickly.
Definitely the right thing to do when you got a 150-pound canine right there in front of you. That one's inside to Alfonso. A Scott Hairston home run, the only run so far tonight. And a ground ball induced by Hunter to Elvis Andrews. And that's still really the only pitch that Hunter might like to have back, that home run that he allowed to Hairston. Otherwise, it's been a real good night. 1-0 Padres. Ford dealers, check out the all-new F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag, it's on. '98-degree evening here in Arlington. The Rangers and the Padres having at it before the Angels come to town. The Angels a 12-8 winner today, so they're a full game up on the Rangers right now. The Mariners won their game today, too, but they have lost Adrian Beltre. Tag, we were musing the other day that he's getting ready for, at some point, got to have that shoulder surgery. It's going to be now. And he's going to be out about 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's a key loss for them. Both offensively and certainly defensively. Huge part of their defense.
The Mariners did get a 4-2 win in L.A. And they are apparently going to still be players in this AL West after all.
Well, they've got good pitching. Felix Hernandez is throwing the ball great. No surprise there. Jared Washburn's pitching well.
Obviously, Ichiro's having a very stellar season. Contributed again today, as a matter of fact. Lightly, 1 for 5, but he's hitting .372. The 3-0 pitch to Chris Davis, and he will take a strike. Davis hammers away. Hairston, though, coming in to make that catch. He started back and then in and found the baseball after all.
That ball had a little bit of knuckling action on it, maybe, that fooled him. I don't think Chris hit that ball. Might have sliced it a little bit. I don't think he hit it right off the sweet spot of the bat. But Hairston stays with it.
The glove never hit the ground, did it?
Nope.
Andrews hit one the Tony Gwynn Jr.'s way last time up. Kind of a tumbling catch out that way. We're talking about Tony Gwynn Sr. just a little while ago. The Padres, in their newspaper today back in San Diego, did a Where Are They Now with that 1984 National League champion team. Andy Hawkins was a part of that team. Now the Rangers bullpen coach. He was the interim pitching coach here last year. native Texan who's got a ranch down in the Bruceville, Texas area. Oh, it's fascinating reading about I always like that "where are they now" stuff.
I do too.
Forgot that Steve Garvey is a greeter for the Dodgers.
Is that what he is?
Yeah.
Among other things?
Among other, yeah, he's like a consultant too. But I mean, basically, he's there at all the VIP events to say, "Hi, you might remember me. I'm Steve Garvey." Chop ball, second base. Kevin McReynolds is a guy that might be watching Ranger baseball now. Lives in Arkansas. Owns the Memphis Pizza Cafe. Little Rock native, and he's got a business that specializes in thin crust pies with fresh ingredients, they say.
Oh, I'd love to try it.
He was not in that '84 World Series. He broke his left wrist trying to break up a double play in a slide against the Cubs at NLCS.
Well, he was a good player. He could
Real good
run,
player.
throw, play the outfield. Solid hitter with power.
You know what Gary Templeton's doing now off of that team? He's managing.
He's still coaching?
Yeah, well, he's managing that Long Beach team in the Golden Baseball League. One of his players is Hideki Irabu.
Wow. Irabu making a comeback.
Trying to anyway, although Jose Lima's also on that team trying to make a comeback. Lima reports Hideki just kind of shows up when he wants to. You know, it's not, he's not really
He's got to
committed.
run his gas station, too.
And yeah, if you don't know that story, former Ranger Hideki Irabu now runs a gas station right by LAX, the Los Angeles airport. It's not like he's out there pumping. I mean, he's, you know, he owns it. Although I'm sure if you asked him to check your oil, he'd probably come on out there. Champ Summers off that team was asked what's he up to now. Champ Summers told the newspaper about 240 pounds.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Boy, he was a specimen when he was playing, too.
Kinsler arcs one to right.
Getting a good part of the bat on the ball off Godin tonight.
No, they're not getting them past these Padre outfielders at all.
That's a credit to him.
So one hitter so far. At the end of 5, it's the Padres on top. Nolan Ryan and Fergie Jenkins will be in attendance. This year's luncheon honoring Toby Harrah and Ruben Sierra, who will be ushered into the Rangers Hall of Fame. For tickets, 817-436-5933. Nolan can appreciate pitching. We've seen a good effort from 2 guys tonight. Tommy Hunter for the Rangers, Chad Godin for the San Diego Padres. Tony Gwynn Jr. bunting foul. Hunter pushed into duty because of Matt Harrison's re-arrival onto the DL. Up from AAA. Here is Tommy Hunter, authoring a 4-hitter so far. The only run he's allowed, the home run by Hairston.
That's a good performance by Tommy. He's had good stuff tonight and good command of it, too. Got a good curveball, throwing a few changeups, mostly curveballs and fastballs. He has some good movement on his fastball. Fastball's reached 93, been around 90 most of the time. pitching with poise and confidence. Looks good tonight.
Up and in to Tony Gwynn. We've talked a lot about Gwynn's dad in this series. I think the one thing that I always go back to about Tony Gwynn Sr. Tag is how he never did leave the Padres. He had plenty of chances to do it, could have made a lot more money. And much to the chagrin of the Players Union, I mean, wanting to just flat out stay put in San Diego. When he signed his last extension, it was a 6-year extension. He was reamed out by Gene Orza, the Union's second in command. And Tony Gwynn simply said to Gene Orza, how can you sit at your desk in New York and tell me what I should sign for? Gene Orza said, well, hey, I have 700 players to look out for. And Tony Gwynn said, well, I have me and my family to look out for. I want to be a Padre.
Well, more players should have that, adopt that philosophy if they're playing in a city where they absolutely love it. Why can't you stay where you want to stay? And I understand the Players Association. They do. They have their constituency to look after. And one of the things that's the hallmark of the Players Association is having the star players sign for as big a contract as they possibly can. And then the rest of the contracts tend to gravitate in that direction. So, you know, I can understand what Gene Orza is saying, but he doesn't really have the right to tell a player like Tony Gwynn what he should do and what he shouldn't do. Tony worked hard, became a terrific player to get to the point where he could make his own decision about where he wants to play and where he wants to stay. And think of how much that's meant not only to him and his family, but to the city of San Diego. He's an icon there. He's not supposed to leave.
He was also drafted by the old San Diego Clippers NBA team. It was an outstanding guard in basketball. That one punched down the line by the very speedy Everth Cabrera. And as Andrew Jones goes to get it, Cabrera's thinking about third base. Kinsler's got the baseball, turns and fires, and it gets by. Tommy Hunter backs it up, thankfully. On a triple by the motorman. Everth Cabrera just steamrolling past second, going to third.
Well, I never even heard of Everth Cabrera until this series, but based on several games watching him, that looks like a terrific Rule 5 draft pick. He's not overmatched offensively. In fact, he looked so good the first couple of games, they've moved him up to second in the batting order for tonight's game. Got a terrific arm, looks good in the field. Who knows, Josh, maybe 7 or 8 years from now, when we're talking about successful Rule 5 draft picks, maybe Everth Cabrera will be one we're talking about.
They've got an outstanding baseball man as their assistant general manager, vice president / assistant general manager, Fred Ullman Jr. And he was saying before the game that, look, we picked third in the Rule 5 draft. I mean, I'm sure there were other teams that would have been interested in Everth Cabrera, but we got to him first. Infield is in, and Scott Hairston the batter. And a foul right at home plate. Well, the way Chad Godin's been pitching tonight, this suddenly is a pretty important part of the game. Jason Jennings gets ready in the bullpen, but boy, if the Rangers can find a way to get out of this inning still down by just 1, that would help. Hairston has accounted for the only run of the game, the 4th inning home run. Caught in the hat. Past the mound, that's too bad. It is now 2-0. Hairston has driven in both runs. He was 2 for his last 21 before these last 2 at bats, and now he's 2 for 2 with 2 RBI. Mike Maddox, of course, the brother of Greg Maddox, who pitched briefly for the Padres, out to talk to Tommy Hunter. And the pitch count in the mid-80s right now for Tommy. couple scores we didn't get to. We should mention that the Astros coughed one up in the 9th inning today. The Tigers rallied. Tigers have been playing great baseball. Brandon Inge hit a 9th inning home run, and the Tigers beat the Astros 4-3 today. Curtis Granderson had a home run in that game too, and Edwin Jackson just continues to deal for Detroit. Even up for Matt Joyce, right from Tampa Bay.
Tough to leave him off the All-Star team. Although there's going to be some really good pitchers that don't make the All-Star team this year.
No doubt. Here's Adrian Gonzalez. And immediately hits it on the ground to second base. 4, 6, 3, double play. Whatever Mike Maddox said, it worked. 1 run in, however, to make it 2-zip San Diego. Time for the Sonic Slam inning, brought to you by Sonic. And the jackpot up to $700. Good luck to Thomas Lansdale from Gilmer, Piney Woods. If a Ranger hits a grand slam during this inning, we're giving away $25,000. You can register at any North Texas Sonic restaurant. It's a warm summer evening, but a pretty night here in Arlington. 300 dogs have arrived at the ballpark tonight with their owners. The annual dog night. And the dogs, like the humans, not seeing a lot of Ranger hitting quite yet. One base hit. That's from Michael Young. That was in the first inning. A lot of credit goes to Chad Godin, the veteran right-hander, native Louisianan, out there for the Padres. Coming off a career best 11 strikeout game.
Well, he might be in the middle of his career best game period so far in this one.
Oh, the strikeout to Murphy here, or of Murphy.
6 strikeouts in 6 innings.
Wow.
And really, the Rangers have not hit a ball hard yet. They've hit some kind of semi-line drives to the outfield. Michael Young's single was kind of, he reached out and poked a base hit to center field. That's the only hit. But this so far is a dominating effort by Godin against the Rangers.
The owner of the only Ranger base hit so far, Michael Young. What do you think of the blue and sand uniforms for San Diego?
I'm not a big fan.
Better, though, than the old brown, orange, and yellow?
I wasn't a fan of those either.
What about the original mustard color, all yellow,
No.
Nate Colbert, Mike Ivey style?
Served its purpose, but not a fan.
Rangers are classic baseball Americana. They feature the red, white, and blue of that Texas state flag.
Yeah, I'm still a traditionalist. I like, for a home game, I like the all-white uniform. I love the red for a weekend game like the Rangers have been using it. But to me, these...
Oh, there's Michael Young wearing the bright blues. A drive that is caught at the wall by Headley.
Well, the Rangers in this series have hit a lot of balls to the warning track that have been caught, and there's another one. Thought it had a chance off the bat, but didn't quite get there.
Racing back. That's Headley.
I mean, the uniforms in this game makes it look like a spring training game.
Agreed. But just back to the old brown, orange, and yellow. That's the one that Steve Garvey said made him look like a taco.
There have been some doozies of uniforms over the years. Cleveland's all red one comes to mind.
Nolan was the only guy I thought that made the Astros paint sampler uniform look good.
Yeah, that was obviously a different looking uniform. Of all the ones we're talking about, though, I would prefer that one over the other ones.
They never made you wear the 1977 White Sox short shorts?
Nope. Played against the White Sox when they wore them, though.
Putting Wilbur Wood in that uniform was just not fair.
And the jerseys that they wore were made to hang out of their uniform, and even when they weren't wearing shorts, they wore them that year with a collar on them, kind of a little V-neck with a collar, tapered and tailored to hang out of your pants, not be tucked in.
To maximize dorkiness. Jones will step out of the way.
They were probably very comfortable if you weren't self-conscious about what you looked like.
I mean, was that considered stylish at that time? I mean, I was like 9.
So it was stylish in that they were the only ones wearing it. It wasn't stylish enough to catch on anywhere else, as far as I know.
Rip and a miss by Andrew, 3-2.
Well, there's a 3-1 fastball that he threw by Andrew. Pretty good fastball hitter. Pretty impressive outing for Godin. Remember, this guy was released in April, picked up by the Padres.
Boy, one man's trash is another man's treasure. He's got 7 strikeouts. He has retired 7 straight, and he leads 2-0 at the end of 6. So far tonight, Scott Hairston has driven in both runs for the Padres. Chad Godin has pitched exceptionally for San Diego tonight. The Rangers getting a spot start from young Tommy Hunter. He's not even 23 years old yet, and he's pitched very well. But he has been outgunned, outdueled by Chad Godin through 6. Kuzmanov will loft one to left. And Murphy's got it.
They have to be really happy with Tommy's performance tonight. If Tommy gets through the 7th inning, after the game tonight, you'll have the bullpen pretty much right back to well rested and ready to go full speed after about a 4 or 5 day period where you really wanted the starter to pitch deep because the guys were tired out there.
The Angels bullpen had to work quite a bit today. They got the 5 innings out of Palmer, and he won that game to go to 7-1. Matt Palmer is having quite a rookie season at the age of 30. But because he only pitched 5 innings, they used Jepson, Bulger, Spire, and the closer Fuentes in that game. Again, the Angels staying hot, winning 12-8. And as good as Max Scherzer looked against the Rangers 5 days ago, he just didn't have it against the for the Diamondbacks today. You know, Sean Figgins, who had a brutal start to this year, his on-base percentage tag is now .399.
Yeah, he's up in the. Is he still in the top 5 in hitting?
Yeah, I think he is. Up there to Headley, 3-1. I mentioned the Rockies won again today, 3-1. And the Mariners won again today, 4-2. But they're going to be without Adrian Beltre for probably about 6 weeks.
Good fastball.
Now we've seen just recently to Andrew Jones, a 3-1 fastball just thrown by him. That from Chad Godin. Now Hunter turns around, does the same thing to Headley. Kinsler can't get it. It's under his glove in the right. Headley, who had 3 hits yesterday, is just singled here with 1 out in the 7th.
You know, Josh, while I'm thinking of it, we should wish Eric Nadel well. Eric is going to have surgery tomorrow morning for the injury that he had, not injury, but the condition that he had with his retina. And he's going to miss some Ranger baseball for a while.
Eric,
good luck. Good
go
luck,
get him,
Eric.
brother. And we'll see you when you see us a little bit better. Ron Washington's got a smile for Tommy Hunter. That's nice to see. There's nothing wrong with how Tommy Hunter pitched tonight.
Tommy had several starts last year, one earlier this season, and with every start he's gotten better, and tonight that was his best outing as a Ranger, and it came after 4 really good outings in AAA, so he was kind of building up to it with AAA success, and it carried over into a big league game tonight. Did a really nice job.
Jason Jennings comes on. We'll tell you about him when we come back on My 27. Rangers getting 1 hit tonight. It is 2-0 San Diego, and we'll check our forward leaderboard right here. The Rangers bullpen has really been good. Frankie Francisco, although he gave up that home run in Phoenix the other night. Darren O'Day, a revelation off the waiver wire. C.J. Wilson, look at that, since April 26th, under 1. And here's Jason Jennings at 3.83, which also is not half bad. Facing the large Kyle Blanks, who is 1 for 2. Here are the full numbers on the former Astro and Rocky, the Mesquite, Texas native. Crowd tonight of exactly 27,000. Right to the person, 27,000.
Ever happening?
And exactly 300 dogs on dog night, we're told tonight, too. It was a good night for round numbers. Got an email here from Ranger fan Larry. Wants to know when is there going to be equal opportunity lending? When's cat night? Can they let 300 cats on the field?
I don't know. Good question.
That might not go well. Cat herding is a very inexact science. What about a cat and dog night? How would that go?
That might get ugly. Look, they're putting ice on the poor dog. I think it's time to take some of the dogs home.
Some, I believe, have left the building. Blanks will line one towards left. It's down in front of David Murphy. So now 2 on with 1 out. Edgar Gonzalez to the plate. The winner, by the way, in that dog parade before the game, we're told, was a Maltese from the toy breed.
Must have been pretty impressive because they picked the winner before the parade was over. I mean, there might have been the grand champion from the World Dog Show at the end of that line. It wouldn't even have placed in this dog show.
Jim Knox and the judges just were kind of picking them out as they went by, and they needed, what, 5 finalists, I guess. So after about 80 dogs, they had their 5 finalists. And if you just happen to be among the last 200 dogs, you were, shall we say, something out of luck. Although we should also point out, it's not like this is the Westminster Kennel Club that we're running here.
What if the winner from the Westminster Kennel Club lived in Arlington and decided to bring their dog out today and was like last in line, and got beat out by, 3 dogs that had never entered a contest before?
By Johnny the Maltese.
One of the greatest upsets in history. You can go back to any sporting event. Imagine the grand champion being upset by a local dog.
By some random dog from,
bigger than the U.S. soccer team beating Spain and whoever else it was that beat them today. Argentina?
Brazil. They almost beat Brazil today.
I know, they were ahead.
All right, we can only hope the Rangers have a little bit of Brazil in them here. Spot the other guy, a 2-0 lead, and come back late. One-two delivery from Jennings. Got him! Inside corner. Strike 3 called. Now if Jennings can get Eliezer Alfonso, the Rangers are out of the inning.
That's just about as good a pitch as you can make right there on the inside corner. Just touched the corner.
Ranger fan Keith says, I've got a pet goat. I guess bringing my goat to the ballpark is out of the question.
Yeah, you dress it up like a dog and see if you could pass it off as a dog. Jim Knox might pick it as a winner. You never know. I guess if you start letting cats and goats, where do you stop?
Eels? Do we have eels?
Boa constrictors. Cam Lowe would come back for that one.
But funny you mentioned that. We got an email from Ranger fan Cameron that says they should have a pet boa constrictor night. Nope, 300 dogs I think was plenty this evening. Ground ball, good pitch from Jennings. Andrews to Kinsler. Oh, it's close and they got him. So at the 7th inning stretch tonight, the Rangers are still in range. Padres leading 2-0. We'll keep it right here on a Sunday evening here in Arlington, Texas. The singing of God Bless America.
And all of Major League Baseball as we pause to honor America and the men and women of armed services who are serving the country both at home and abroad. Tonight, Scott and Lauren Hoying honor America with the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains, to the prairie, to the ocean. Wide river, God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet
Texas Ranger Baseball brought to you by Sonic Drive-In. Not just good, Sonic good. Strange night in Arlington. As many dogs in our broadcast booth as the Rangers have hits tonight. One. Thanks again to Allie, the stage manager, for bringing in Kiki, the rat terrier. That's been a very pleasant addition in our booth tonight. And down there, boy, that's
nachos and jalapenos to that dog.
That's going to be an interesting night in their house. Even the ride home might call out for a cracked window.
Maybe they're eating them. Maybe not the dog.
2-0 ball game, and Hank Blaylock trying to get the Rangers going here. Chad Godin has stolen the show tonight. The Rangers are well aware that the Angels scored 12 runs today and won 12-8. They have been running on ice tonight on a hot night in Texas.
Well, last night they faced Kevin Correa.
Wow, Blaylock is told that's a strike.
Earlier in the season, Correa had struggled a little bit, but when he came into the game last night, he was pitching with 4 straight good starts, and he followed it up with another one. Godin's ERA, he's 3-6, 5.60 ERA coming into this game. But that's not the case in his last 2 starts. He had struck out 8 and 11 against San Diego, and now he has 8 strikeouts in 7 innings against the Rangers, and only 1 hit and only a couple of balls remotely hit hard. Michael hit one to the warning track in left field. A couple other balls hit decently, line drives to the outfield. But this has been a masterful performance so far for Godin. He's only thrown 82 pitches.
Put it to you this way, Tag. One more strikeout tonight. He'll have done something over a 3-start stretch that Zach Greinke has not done this year. That's strikeout 28 over 3 starts. So I think the Vegas odds would have been on Greinke, not Godin, to pull that off. But by the way, a new second baseman. We'll tell you about that in just a moment for the Padres. Marlon Byrd hits it beyond the second baseman, deep to right. Boy, and the irony.
Amazing how many balls the Rangers have hit to the warning track.
Right in front of the longest driver sign. And he needed it to be even a little bit longer than that to get it by Tony Gwynn Jr.
And what that tells me is they just aren't really getting the good part of the bat on the ball. They're hitting them well, but not really well, because the guys that are hitting them, if Michael hits the ball really well, he hits it out. Same with Marlon. So they've hit them decently, but not as well as you would if you really hit it right off the sweet spot of the bat.
You saw David Eckstein in at second base now. Here's Saltalamacchia. This is not a team known for having warning track power. This is known as a team that blasts away and hits a ton of home runs. But in this series, that's where the fly balls have pretty much ended up, is at the warning track.
Rangers have had 1 hit. They've had a couple of walks, and David Murphy reached on an error.
Saltalamacchia hits one high, and that ball goes to the track. And yet again.
That one was hit on the good part of the bat, and he just missed it. Godin doesn't know how many outs there are. He's still on the mound.
He can leave now if he'd like to. We're at the end of 7.
Just thinking about getting away with a pitch right there.
Rangers are trailing 2-0 to the San Diego Padres, a team that hasn't won a series since Memorial Day weekend. They got a chance to get in and out of Arlington, Texas with a 2-1 series win. Rangers so far only 1 hit against Chad Godin, a guy that they have seen plenty of before as an Oakland Athletic and a Tampa Bay Ray. Now, CJ's been pitching his best baseball the last couple of months. Right here just has to make sure the Rangers stay close. Got a lefty to start out here, Tony Gwynn Jr. Young in a bit at third. Davis in even with the bag at first. Trying to take that bunt away. Little flare to left into the crowd of 27,000 humans. And 300 dogs tonight on the annual Dog Night. The Angels come to town tomorrow. Good pitch. Wilson surrounds that baseball. Little flip to Davis. And now, ladies and gentlemen, on Dog Night, Jim Knox.
Here's the winner, guys. Here, Josh and Tom, you were talking about the winner, Maltese Gracie, right?
Right.
And best dressed dog, the winner of the parade tonight, and it's got the nice hat on, the jersey, the glove. And you guys are from where?
Garland.
Garland, your name?
Christy.
And
Mike.
All right, good to have you. Congratulations. Also, I want to present Gracie with a year's supply of popcorn. Congratulations, Gracie. Congratulations. The dog looks great, okay? Just keep him away from the bulldog. He'll be good. Good to go, all right? Thank you.
Thanks, Jim, and thanks to the 300 dog owners that turned out tonight. I noticed they didn't actually take the popcorn with after all that.
They gave it to Jim. Jim's taking it home.
You and I know, each thought about it, but then kind of cooler heads prevailed in terms of bringing our respective canines here tonight.
Mine wouldn't do well. They're a little too high strung.
Yeah.
Too much barking.
I didn't want to break up a set, is where I finally ended up, because I got.
It'd be fair to bring just one of them.
No, I got one Bichon that would have been fine with it, and the other one would have been a mental case. So
you know, if the other one walked by the TV and the game was on and they saw the other one on TV,
would have lost his mind.
Traumatic.
I know. I don't want to do him like that. 1-2 to Cabrera. Got him. Strike 3 called. Now the Rangers, even though they're not hitting much in this game, neither are the Padres. They got the 2 runs batted in from Hairston, and that's it.
No doubt about those 2 strikes.
Hairston will bat now, and again, if it wasn't for Hairston, this would be a 0-0 game. High school teammate of Kinsler's. Very solid night tonight, playing good defense too. Tomorrow it is Vicente Padilla for the Rangers, and the Angels rookie Sean O'Sullivan gets the start. The Rangers will either be a half a game out or a game and a half out at the dawn of that series. Remember, the Rangers swept the Angels here back in May. $16 more games of head-to-head baseball. The Rangers and the Angels. The Rangers have not yet made a trip out there to Southern California. Three and 1 the count. Gonzalez on deck. Hairston fires another one into the alley this time, right center field. Marlon Bird's going to go get it. And Hairston finds himself a triple shy of the cycle now. Back to the Rangers and Angels tag. We give it to you kind of match game 77 style here. Sean O'Sullivan, Joe Saunders, Jared Weaver across the upper row there for the Angels. Padilla, Feldman, and Millwood. Their trio of Ranger pitchers. That Wednesday matchup is awesome. Weaver and Millwood each with about a 2.6 ERA right there. Former Ranger Adrian Gonzalez, he of the Rafael Palmeiro-esque batting stance and swing. I saw the results of a poll. They asked big league scouts tag who's got the the sweetest stroke in the National League, and the results came in. It was Adrian Gonzalez.
Well, we don't see the National League enough to really have an opinion on that, but watching Adrian, certainly wouldn't argue with that. It's a beautiful swing.
If I remember right, in the American League, Justin Morneau was the winner.
Pretty swing. Joe Mauer has a pretty swing too,
and a batting average approximating 400 now.
You know, why is it whenever they talk about that type of a category, it's always a left-hand hitter? Why can't a right-hand hitter have a beautiful swing?
That's a great question. Ken Griffey Jr. for years was talked about as having
always a left-hand hitter.
The trophy swing. That's not really a trophy cut right there. C.J. Wilson just ate him up. A 2-out double, and that's it in the top of the 8th. All right, time for the Rangers to start hitting the baseball. It is 2-0 San Diego. Cokes, a parking pass, unlimited play in the sports park for kids 13 and under, all for as little as $15 a person. Sponsored by our friends at K-Love. Go online to get it done, TexasRangers.com, or call 972-RANGERS. Rangers have been one hit tonight by Chad Godin, as Texas is in danger of falling a game and a half behind the Angels, who move in for the 3-game series starting tomorrow. Rangers facing a little Cajun spice here. Chad Godin, the Louisiana native, squares account here with Davis.
We would like to wish Carla and Bob Janeway, we know Carla better by the nickname Empress, a happy 5th wedding anniversary tonight.
Wait a minute, Carla's working on her anniversary?
Yes, Carla is. That's how much she loves the guys in the truck.
Wow.
What would she want to do on her anniversary? Be with us.
Very,
nice
very
compliment.
Sweet. A very understanding husband, too. 2-1 pitch to Davis.
No, he's out there.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, how about that inning from C.J. Wilson, by the way?
Yeah, that's not a surprise the way he's been throwing the ball. Shows you how well Scott Hairston's swinging the bat, though, if he could hit a line drive double off C.J.
Davis pumps one towards center, and there is Hairston on defense.
It's safe to say the Rangers aren't finding any holes tonight.
No.
Whatever they've hit, it's been caught.
Padres announcer Mark Grant was in our booth between innings, reminding us of the story that years ago Bud Black, who was a neighbor of C.J. Wilson's for a while in the Newport Beach, California area, through family friends, came over, had a little catch with C.J. when C.J. was just a teenager. And the story goes that Bud Black pretty much knew right away this kid's got something. Andrews will scrape it past the mound. Cabrera gets rid of it, and the one-hitter continues. Chad Godin getting it done. Jake Peavy has a complete game for the Padres this year. Of course, he's on the DL now, but he is the only Padre with a complete game. Chad Godin's at 93 pitches. He only needs 4 more outs. I'm putting in the call here for Kinsler. This is just,
all right, we need to do something.
Yeah, this is getting silly. The Rangers scored 12 runs the first night in that San Diego was here. In fact, they had 9 runs on the board with 1 out in the 3rd inning. Inside corner, 1-1. The Padres closer is a very good one, Heath Bell, and he has just now started to warm in that San Diego bullpen. They lost Trevor Hoffman, bid goodbye to him. Heath Bell steps in, and he's been Hoffman-esque.
I wonder if they bring in Bell to get the save. It's a safe thing to do as well as he's pitched, and take Godin out while he's got a 1-hit shutout going.
Be an interesting call for Bud Black.
Godin threw 113 pitches in his last start against Seattle. In that game, 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, and 11 strikeouts. So he's coming off a gem and throwing another one tonight.
Kinsler, a rocket, but foul. Again, both the Angels and the Mariners won today. But the Mariners are going to be without Adrian Beltre for the next month and a half. That's the problem. Three and 2, Murphy on deck. Base runners have been so tough to come by. 2 walks, an error, and a Michael Young single way back in the 1st inning is when the hit was. Wow. Chad Godin, after 11 strikeouts last effort, a 9 strikeout night tonight. 2-0 San Diego at the end of 8. since coming over from the Mets organization. He was put on waivers by the Mets. What a find for these Texas Rangers. An ERA of 1.5.
He's been terrific. Opponent's batting average is below 200. Really good strikeout to walk ratio.
O'Day on dog day in the 9th inning now against the Padres. Again, our thanks to Petco and all the people associated with Dog Night tonight. Congratulations to the winning Maltese. Sidearm strike on the inside corner to Kuzmanov. High fly ball towards right. You know, we were talking earlier, Tag, about what are the odds of having two players that went to high school together on opposite sides of the field. We've got that tonight with Kinsler and Hairston. Also, what are the odds of having two guys that had to walk on their college team at the same college involved in the game tonight? We have that dynamic because Darren O'Day and David Eckstein are both former walk-ons for the Florida Gators. Two guys that, and you know, and Florida's a halfway decent baseball program, but two guys that were not good enough initially, or so it was thought, to gain any kind of scholarship or chance to make a difference. I give those guys both a lot of credit, sticking with their dream like that. Outside to Headley. And he was a fairly heavily recruited player out of high school. Towards left center field. Murphy can't get it. Dumped down in front of him. Headley's a guy who played at the University of the Pacific before he transferred to Tennessee. In fact, Headley's brother Nate is one of the coaches now at the University of Tennessee. Now the big guy, Kyle Blanks, the New Mexico native. Looks like Heath Bell is still throwing in that Padre bullpen, Tag. You've got Godin with a one-hit shutout right now through 8.
It'd be tough to take Godin out of this game, but not quite as tough when you look out there and see Heath Bell and the job he's done as a closer.
And it's a consideration, I would think, too, right? You don't want your closer sitting around 4 days in a row doing nothing.
No, I'm sure that's got something to do with it. So that's kind of a tough decision for Bub Black, but it's a good decision. Got a chance to send a pitcher back out there with a one-hit shutout or bring in one of the best closers in the league.
Runner goes. Saltalamacchia throws, and the tag is, whoa, they say not in time. Looked like Kinsler might have had his leg, but
that was closer than it looked. The throw was to the right, and generally you think, well, he tagged him in the leg. He must have had his hand in there. But did the tag come down before the hand touched the bag? Pretty close. That's not an easy call for Jim Wolf.
Blanks waving at it.
Submarine changeup right there.
It's hilarious to me, Tag. Eckstein on deck and Blanks at the plate. You look down there on the field and it doesn't look right. Ooh, inside, got him in the, looked like in the forearm.
That hurt the ball. Had to throw that ball out, get a new one.
Eckstein was warming up right behind Blanks. And this looked like a 50% version of the guy that was in the batter's box. 6'6" on base, 5'6" at the plate. Two on, one out. And the former Gators, the former walk-ons, Eckstein against O'Day. Fouled right back. I don't know how, if you like baseball, how you can't just love watching David Eckstein day in, day out. He just looks so happy to be at the plate batting, you know?
Yeah, what if your double play combination was David Eckstein and Omar Vizquel? That would be a happy little thing to watch all day long.
That would be the all karma team right there. Tough guy to strike out as Eckstein, makes such good contact, but O'Day's ahead of him 0-2. You mentioned earlier in this series that Eckstein already has been on a couple of World Series teams. In fact, he was the MVP of the World Series for the Cardinals not too long ago. Mike Scioscia, when Eckstein was on the Angels, used to tell people if he's 5'6", 5'3" of it is heart. Down the line, foul. And Eckstein has said that's something handed to him from his dad. His dad used to tell him, always step on the field like you own it. Maybe you can't be 6'5", but you can act like you're 6'5".
That's what Eddie Guardado did to become a closer.
Yeah. Act as
Same
if.
thing.
Got him. Tough guy to strike out. He struck out.
Made a good pitch on him. Slider.
Now if O'Day can get Eliezer Alfonso, he escapes the inning. Well, the Rangers have been out hit 10-1. But they
just can't find a hole. Everything they hit's being caught. Something's got to drop.
A couple of bloops and a blast would work out in the bottom of the ninth. You got some power hitters coming up. The Rangers will have 2, 3, 4 in the order batting, and it looks like it will be Heath Bell on the mound. No reason not to throw that pitch to a right-hander the way he's got it moving, right?
Yeah, you can throw that pitch. You can throw the sinker in on the fist. When you've got those two pitches working, one coming in, one going away, you're in pretty good shape.
Got him to pop it up. Way up there for Elvis Andrus to handle. And now here come the Rangers. One last chance to beat the Padres tonight. Murphy to lead it off. Then Young. Then Jones. It's 2-0. It's On. By Bud Light, with just the right taste that never fills you up. The difference is drinkability. By Whataburger, just like you like it. And by your Texas Ford dealers, check out the all-new F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. Well, the Rangers earlier this year were one hit by Dontrell Willis. Tonight they have been one hit by Chad Godin. The one hit was by Michael Young, a solid single in the center field back in the first inning. But after 100 pitches and the need to get the closer a little bit of work, Chad Godin is done. And here is Heath Bell, who has saved 20. And, you know, we've been talking about one-time college walk-ons. Tag, this guy was as well. He had to walk on at Rancho Santiago Community College. And here he is as a closer.
I'll bet you when he walked on at Rancho, what was it?
Santiago Community College.
Community College. He wasn't throwing 95 miles an hour.
The former Met, another big guy for San Diego, 6'3", 250, the son of a Marine. And the Rangers again, with just the one hit all night, in danger of falling a game and a half behind the Angels. This is where they got to get cracking.
Yeah, if you look at the performance for Godin tonight, it's one of the best pitching performances against the Rangers all year.
What is it, 9 strikeouts at the end?
9 strikeouts, 2 walks. Soft line drive single by Michael to center was the only hit. Another batter reached on an error. That was it.
Best 2 back-to-back starts he's ever had in his major league career, Chad Godin. Here's a couple of quick strikes to Murphy.
Well, we've seen Godin quite a bit, mostly with the A's. And we've seen him pitch some really nice games, too. But that tonight was his best. Terrific game. Maybe his best game ever.
The last time we saw a Padres closer in this ballpark, of course, it was Trevor Hoffman, and he had a very dicey 9th inning. Mark Teixeira looked like he had won the game with a homer over the foul pole. It was ruled foul, not fair. And the Rangers ended up losing with the winning runs on base. But that night they proved that they could hit a San Diego closer. It was a real tough one for Hoffman to get. Now they're trying to work over Heath Bell. Strike 3 called to Murphy. The Rangers have struck out 10 times tonight.
Good pitch by Bell. 95 miles an hour. Tailing away a little bit. Outside half of the plate. Nice pitch.
The only Ranger with a hit will bat right here. It's Michael Young. That's the only thing we can show you from a Ranger tonight that looked like a base hit. There it was in front of Hairston. The guy on deck, we should point out, Mr. Andrew Jones. 3 for 5 lifetime against Heath Bell with a triple and a home run his last 2 at-bats.
Well, you're just hoping to get a man on base so one swing of the bat can tie the game.
Yep.
The Rangers' best chance to score was the first inning, a walk and a single. Murphy walked, Michael singled, 2 men on, 1 out. After that, Godin retired the last 13 batters he faced and never had an inning where a man reached second base after the first.
Now, the Rangers haven't had a base runner since the 4th inning. That was the Marlon Byrd 2-out walk. Rangers are 0 for their last 25 in this game, and they're running out of time. Outside. whistle is on. Andrew Jones, the tying man.
From a 3-2 breaking ball. Hard slider down and away. Michael laid off it. And now you're in position. One swing of the bat. Tie the ball game.
That makes Hank Blaylock the winning run tonight. Wouldn't that be something against his hometown team? Again, Jones. Some good stuff in the pass against Heath Bell. Andrew, a foul out and a couple of strikeouts tonight. Remember, he has homered in 4 of his last 7 games. Bell stays away, 1-1. Nothing approximating a fastball yet for Andrew. Safe lead off of first for Michael Young. There's a comebacker. Bell lobs to Eckstein. And the Rangers have been one hit tonight. Blaylock never did get a chance to be the hero. Heath Bell closes it out. The Rangers have been one hit by the Padres. And they lose this series 2-1. There's your hitting hero. Scott Hairston drove in both runs tonight. The Padres, who hadn't won a series since Memorial Day.